Hello, sweet friend. My name is Micah, and in this video, I would like to flip through my February pages in my Hobonichi Cousin. This is my main journal, so it's my creative journal, my daily journal, the journal in which I memory keep all of these things, or depending on sort of what the day brings. And yeah, so far it's still going great. The monthlies are maybe still a little wonky, so I'm not quite sure if I've found the right fit for these pages just yet. For the month of February, I tried a hobby tracker, so I indicated when I started and finished books. I indicated when I tried out new recipes and when I worked on new craft project. So this month I'm working on a little diorama. I stained the wood and I already designed a wallpaper to go in here. So this is really fun. I'm excited to keep working on this. But as you can see, there's still a lot of blank space, and so I don't know if this is the right fit for these pages. One thing could be to just be more visual with it, so print out the book covers, print out photos of the food and the craft projects, those kinds of things. So that might be nice, and could definitely make this feel a little bit more, I don't know if worthwhile is the right word to use there, but yeah. So we're still in a testing phase. And then the weekly pages, I've mentioned that last month as well. The problem is sometimes I forget about them. So this is the first week of February. But when I do remember to do them in the moment, then I love them. So I just do a little bit more of a logging style of the day, because some of these things don't necessarily make it onto the daily pages, and I do like having this kind of more detailed view of what I did in a week. So yeah, I love sticking all kinds of stickers on there. I feel like there's a different kind of use for ephemera on these pages, which I really enjoy. And so then here are some photos of my niece too. So yeah, I really like this sort of eclectic look that these pages get, but I still have to work on the consistency of it. So here, I mean, I did do pretty good up until the weekend. And then that is this week. So again, empty. I thought this morning that it might be worthwhile to go in and at least capture the highlights, the big things that I still remember or that are on the daily pages, and I can remind myself and just do bigger lettering. That might be nice, so that at least when you flip through you have some sense of what this week was all about. So I might try that. And then I went ahead and pre-decorated next week, just because I'm hoping that will help with the consistency of it all. If there's something on the page already and I can think, oh yes, I have the week with all the watercolor and the tiny cats and I have to write my log. So yeah, we'll see how that goes with the more pre-decorated thing. Of course, then I can't do the itsy bitsy stickers, but maybe I can put in some doodles to not make this go all crazy, but we'll see. We will see. That is January. Let's jump to the right month. Yes, so daily pages are going great though. So pretty consistent with those, which I'm happy about. I mean, that's I think the main focus for me anyway, are the daily pages. Everything else is a little bit more icing on the cake, even though as expensive as this book is, I would like to find a use for all of the parts, just personally. But yeah, anyway, this is the title page for February, and for this year I decided to use this space to interact with poetry a little bit. So finding a poem that speaks to the moment or what I anticipate the vibe of the month to be, those kinds of things. And it's really been a joy to just read through a bunch of poems and find the one that fits and then transcribe it into my journal. It's a nice way to pay more attention to nice words, and it's just a very soothing exercise. So that's been really rewarding. So for February, I picked Emily Dickinson's Hope is the Thing with Feathers. So yeah, really, really nice. And then I just, decorate around the poems. The first, I often dedicate the main column to my printable collection that always releases on the 1st from Cat Collage Club, because I like keeping track of what I worked on the previous month and what came out of it. For me, that is such a thing, like a moment in time. So yeah, that's really important to me there. And then really cool, on February 1st is Hourly Comic Day. And I think I've shown this in a different video before. And so the idea is that a lot of illustrators, artists, cartoonists, or whoever wants to join, makes a little cartoon drawing or sequence of drawings for every hour that they're awake on February 1st. Spoiler alert, I didn't make it all the way to the end, but yeah, it was really, really fun. I've been wanting to get into this for a couple years, and every time I would not remember and just see the finished drawings on social media and think, oh darn it, missed it again. But this year I remembered, and I really, really enjoyed the exercise and the drawings. And I think this A5 Slim size is really fun, like a fun format for drawings like this. And in fact, it was so nice to do that I did the 2nd of February in this style as well. Really, really fun. And I had left this page blank in the Cousin and thought, oh, I could journal about something else from that day, but ultimately decided that these drawings really captured the day. And so I was like, well, I'll just copy and paste it in here so that I have it all in a row, or like in a sequence. The sequence of events is still intact, so to speak. So yeah. Here on the 3rd, I tried more sort of drawing things in sequence. I think I've mentioned it several times. I used to draw comics and would love to get back into it, and not finding the time. So I've been approaching it as, well, why not use the journal pages sometimes as a little bit of practice, even though these are not finished comics by any means. It's at least me thinking in images and thinking in sequences, so that's really nice. I really like that soft color palette. So that day was really, really warm, 21 degrees Celsius, and I hadn't realized that it was that warm, and so I put my winter jacket on and a big scarf, and like literally when I stepped outside, the warmth just hit me like that. Yeah, so that's what that is about. Oh, I'm sorry. On the 4th, I got a new nib for my Leonardo pen. Here, I'll show you. I don't know if I've featured this pen on the channel before, but I had bought it with a medium nib and then was kind of feeling like that was a little too broad for me. And so the nice thing about these pens is that you can buy individual nibs, and so I purchased an F nib to screw on there, and now it's one of my favorite writers, and of course, so pretty. So yeah, that was a good order that came in, and I also finally got a hold of these, which I want to use with my Kakimori dip nib, because the grip section is so thick that it's really hard to dip that into the ink bottles without getting ink all over. So I thought this might be nice and handy. And also I want to play around with mixing inks, especially the Dia Trementis waterproof inks. I think it could be really fun to create some exciting colors that are also waterproof. So yeah, just a lot of fun fountain pen stuff. And then this day I finished reading Charlotte's Web. This year I have this little goal of making it through some children's book classics that I have never read, and so Charlotte's Web was one of those. I copied out a quote from the book that I felt like really encapsulated for me what the book was about, so that was really fun, and then just wrote out some thoughts. And then spoiler, if we flip through, oh, I don't know where that went. Well, never mind about the spoiler, but I think I'm coming back to the topic of Charlotte's Web. I'll have some more thoughts on the book. Here again, just approaching the day in drawings. I went to the grocery store and really noticed that I was having a sweet tooth because I wanted to buy all the croissants and pain au chocolat and pancake mixes and all these like really not so healthy foods. Although I did try to make this joke, and the cat says, well, they do say variety is healthy, because what I always eat is oats, which of course is more healthy than a pain au chocolat, but yeah, just I don't know if that joke is actually funny, but just playing around with stuff. I really like the limited color palette I went for here with some colored pencils, and that inspired this right here as well on the page. Just trying to come up with different color combinations that I can just refer back to if I want to have a quick limited color palette with my pencils. Really, really fun and very soothing to do. Of course, here more swatching just to fill the page, but also, yeah, kind of a soothing exercise. And I've been really into these kinds of blues, which is interesting because I'm not really a blue person. So yeah, that's what that is about. And we had some plumbing issues with our kitchen sink, and we finally got it fixed. And I was reflecting on the fact that I feel like a real grown-up if, you know, getting your kitchen sink fixed feels like a major high point of the week. But there's just, you know, we don't have a dishwasher, and so the kitchen sink definitely is very important for us. So yeah, I also noticed just how much I like an organized kitchen. It's just, there's something about being able to go in and just grab some food and stuff. So yeah, feeling real grown up. That was just some reflections on some thoughts and feelings that I had. And then this is a German word, Tapetenwechsel, which means change of wallpaper. And by that we mean sort of like you need a change of scenery. You need to get out and see something different, which I definitely felt like on that day. And so I accompanied my husband out to a coffee shop to work. So we have a little working cat there. Kind of fun. And then I started reading The Last Unicorn, and the book had a wonderful introduction written by Patrick Rothfuss. I'm not sure, but I think he's American, so Rothfuss. And so I decided to copy it here and yeah, do this section of the quote a little bigger and really pretty, just simply because I thought that was a soothing, fun thing to do. And I think a journal is great for that kind of stuff. So it's not just about, you know, keeping track of your memories, for me at least, but also as a place where I can just have fun creatively or just engage in these kinds of soothing activities. More fountain pen stuff. So my most expensive fountain pen is this one. This is the Pilot Custom Heritage 912, which I bought to draw with because it's wonderfully bouncy. And ever since last June, July, the nib has been clogging. And that is because I was silly enough to leave it inked while we moved. And then the move didn't go quite as smoothly as anticipated, and so it took us a lot longer to really get settled in. And so I wasn't writing or drawing with it for a couple weeks, which is a long time if you keep waterproof ink in a pen. And not only was it waterproof ink, it was ink that I had never used before, and so therefore had no idea of how much it would clog the pen. And so, of course, if you ruin your most favorite, or your, well, most favorite and also most expensive fountain pen, that is really a bummer. And so I'd been reading up online what else I can try, because the things that I've been doing didn't quite work. And so in a forum, they were talking about using a ultrasonic cleaner. So I bought one, and so I did some cleaning with that. It didn't quite do away with all of it, but in the end, I will get to it on a later page. I got another tip that really helped with that. But yeah, so that nib in that thing looks so sad. It's just lying in there all alone. Yeah, anyway, so this is a page dedicated to a Blythe doll that I would really like to purchase someday. This is Brenda's Extraordinary Day. That's the doll's name. And I just think she's so cute in all these outfits, and I wanted some cuteness in my journal. So I just printed out these pictures and stuck them in. Oh yeah, here we have more thoughts on Charlotte's Web. So yeah, wow, that took a while. So as you can see, the book really stuck with me, and I had some things to say, which there's going to be more pages too. I've found that writing about books really comes, I guess, easy to me, or I have a lot of thoughts about books most of the time. So that's one of the only times I find the A5 size too small and too restricting if I feel like I have to limit myself to one page. But yeah, I even went on right here. So that is still part of it. I indicated that with like a little pencil line there. Yeah, that day I went grocery shopping and it was so gray and rainy outside, but I put on some good music and was really having a lot of fun trying to sing along, because I figured in a car that, you know, you can just do that. No one's gonna be offended. So yeah, that's that little drawing there. And it was really exciting because at Aldi I found a German baked good called Nussecken. So nutty triangles, I guess, would be a good translation for that. So I drew those here. Yeah, making progress on a creative project, a writing project that I'm working on. So was really excited about that. And unfortunately, I somehow managed to smear this ink, or not smear, but it got wet when I did the background for this page. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, I really like whenever I do work on these longer projects that I just dip in and out of. I like having these kinds of reflections on it so I can go back and kind of get a feel of how the ideas evolved. I think that's really nice. Yeah. And then this I actually did in a YouTube video. I did a journal with me where we focused on lettering. So this is how that turned out. This is from the song In My Tree by Pearl Jam. I did have to cut out one line in this. But yeah, also just a fun, relaxing thing to do, but also really speaks to the moment. Just wanting to be in a tree, trading stories with the leaves. So that's that. Just more general thoughts and reflections, I think. Here I drew my fiddle leaf fig because it's looking really, really sad again at the moment. We go through phases. She's doing really, really well and then not so great anymore. I think this is the effect of winter getting the best of her. I'm assuming that that's what's going on right now. So yeah, that's really unfortunate. But yeah, this was fun. Here I joined a Insta Live with Minapomelo. She's on YouTube as well, and her friend Juju. I'll have Mina's channel linked below. It was really nice to just chat with them or listen to them and do some journaling myself. So that's quite cool. Yeah, more just lots of writing. I'm surprised. Usually I'm not that... I always think I don't have anything to say or I don't have anything on my mind. But when I do sit down and let myself write a little bit, there's always something, you know? Kind of interesting how that happens. If you just... Sometimes it really is just to start, you know? By the way, these wonderful printables, all of the wonderful flowers that you see is all Erin Ware. I'm a patron of hers, and she has some wonderful, wonderful art. This lettering we also did in that lettering video together, and I really liked how that turned out with all the different colors. And it was really interesting because I just picked the colors by themselves just to make the heading. And then I realized that this cat sticker went really well with it, and that day I went grocery shopping, so I figured she's going out and about. And drew a little doodle of some Haribo candy that I found for 25 cents. Pretty good deal. So that went in there. Yes, this is the other page that I talked about in terms of like writing about books and what I'm reading and having thoughts. This is when I finished The Last Unicorn. Here I copied out the first segment of the book because I thought the writing was so lovely, the way he describes the unicorn, because it's a little bit different from like the usual unicorn look. So yeah, and I drew a little unicorn. And then this is some of my thoughts, and I actually would have more than that. So I think I will need to maybe consider my daily pages as a springboard, or just capture the initial thoughts and feelings on a book, and then I might just have to use that as a reference to then put more notes elsewhere in a different book. But yeah, I really like how that color scheme came out. It's quite lovely. I think that's it's very unicorn. It's giving me unicorn. So yeah. And I like having different ink colors to separate between. For example, this is the copied out quote, and then this is my thoughts. So that's kind of nice. Here we have one empty page. That's fine. Either it's gonna stay empty, or I also just this morning printed out some printables, some quotes from Erin's Patreon, so I might just go back in and work on one of these. I think journal prompts are great for that kind of stuff, to just fill a page. So yeah. Yes, and that day is when I finally got my pen working, and that's because of a tip that I got from Shauna. She's also here on YouTube. I have her channel linked below because she has some wonderful videos about her fountain pen inks, her fountain pens, and all that kind of good stuff. And she's always a pleasure to watch and listen to. And we are both on the Discord server of Seemownay, which I'll also link below. And on there, there's so many lovely folks, and they have some wonderful, helpful tips. And so Shauna was able to help me out. And now it finally writes. I was so relieved because I was ready to kind of start the mourning process of not being able to ever get this to work again. But yeah, it's working. Here, this was kind of like an interesting compositional challenge, maybe we call it. But maybe this is helpful for you at some point. So I started with the oh my god. So worked that into the page. And then I started on this and I hadn't really penciled it in, and that's where I went wrong. But then I was like, oh my god, that is way too close, and now it's looking really cluttered. And so then I thought, well, maybe I can make this work if I just clutter the whole page, so make like a really cluttered frame around it. And I really do think that I was somewhat able to pull that off. Like, it looks more intentional now with all the other things going on as well. And just sort of doing this little frame thing. Yeah, I don't know. Something to keep in mind. Yeah, and then trying to figure out how to get better prints from one of my printers, because it had started having a little bit of a magenta cast, which I feel like it didn't happen before. So just, yeah, trying some different stuff out. And then this is a doodle of a lemonade can, because my husband brought one for me. Really, really nice, because he knows that I love to drink a fun drink every now and again. So yeah, this was really, really good. It's like it was very lemonade-y, and apparently the lemons in that are from Sicily. So that was really cool. Yeah, and then this was the day I tried making the Indian creamed spinach with tofu, which turned out so yummy. Yeah, really, really good. And it's from a book all about sheet pan dinners. And I would have never expected something that is so sauce-based, like a creamed spinach, to be making that with a sheet pan in an oven. But yeah, it worked great, and it tasted amazing. So yeah, kind of interesting. And then that is already the end of February. Here I was just reflecting on some things that I was grateful for, specifically related to being able to be an illustrator and being able to draw for a living. That's just really, really special. So that's why those are in there. And I don't know if you can tell on video, but as we've talked about quite a few times, how weird the paper in this year's Hobonichi is, and how even within the book, different pages can have a different quality to it. And this, for example, is one that has sort of slightly worse quality. I mean, the ink didn't feather, but these two things are the same ink. Can you tell how much lighter it looks here? How it's just not, it doesn't have the same oomph. I'm not sure if that shows up on camera, but yeah, strange. And then yeah, I already set up the March cover page and picked my poem for the month, which is called Enough by David White, and decorated it with some cute birdies and a cat from the March Cat Collage Club collection. So yeah, slowly going into the spring vibes. Really, really cute. But yeah, I'm having a great time. It's just really fun. I like the sort of challenge of figuring out each page as it comes along, and figuring out an approach or the media or the layout to make it fit the feeling of the day. I know that might not be the most time effective way of doing an A5 page every day. Of course, you know, if you need to be more, you know, on time with things, then of course approaching it with some sort of template might be a good idea. But yeah, so far I am enjoying the sort of the mix of things and being able to do whatever I feel like doing on the day, and that seems to be working for me. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing this time with me. I hope you found this inspiring, relaxing, all the good things, and let me know how your journaling is going. And until next time, happy journaling.